Christ, we thank you for your great favor on Montserrat and us here this afternoon. We thank you that as we begin a new phase in our health story, God, that you will be with us and that you'll give wisdom to our leaders and to our medical practitioners. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Honorable Minister of Health and Social Services, Charles T. Kernan. Honorable Parliamentary Secretary, Mrs. Veronica Dorset Hector. Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Shower Greenaway Dubry. Mr. Vincent Beauvalet, Chief Executive Officer, and Ms. Catherine of St. Barth Executive. All GOM directors, surgeon specialists, medical doctors, healthcare development manager, nurses, staff members within the Ministry of Health and Social Services, Ministry of Finance representatives, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is with a great sense of gratitude that I welcome everyone to this ceremony to mark the inaugural visit of the Caribmedevac service by St. Barth's Executive to Montserrat. It is indeed a very momentous milestone in our journey. The vision of the ministry is to be a resilient, high-quality health system that promotes and empowers all residents to effectively manage their health and wellness and have prompt, easy access to quality and affordable health and social care. Therefore, we are focused on building robust and transformative approaches to providing a better health system for Montserrat that is integrated and equitable. We have an obligation to ensure that our patients are being provided with optimal healthcare services at all times. And to do this, we must continually explore avenues through which we can expand and optimize healthcare delivery for our patients on the ground. For example, through our recently established high dependency unit at our Glendon Hospital, and for those we are transporting overseas. Today, we are pleased to introduce St. Barth's Executive Caribmedevac service, which complements and enhances our current Medevac provision. It has been a complex journey to get this service to Montserrat, and we are delighted that they have made it here to us today. I would like to say a very warm Montserrat welcome to everyone and a very special bienvenue to Montserrat, hope I have it right, to Mr. Vincent and Ms. Catherine from St. Barth's Executive. In terms of our programming today, we have a very short time, only of 30 minutes. The minister will be the next speaker and he will give his brief remarks, followed by Mr. Vincent Beauvalet, CEO of St. Barth's Executive. We will allow the press a very short question and answer period, after which the Chief Medical Officer will give the vote of thanks, and then we'll have a very brief tour of the air ambulance. Minister, it's now your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, good afternoon. Access to good health care has been and is a priority of the government of Montserrat. And over the years, we have heard much about what should be done and what can be done. And in doing that, today we welcome Caribmedevac Air Ambulance Service to our island, and we look forward to working with you. Let me, at this juncture, take the opportunity to thank our current partners, Fly Montserrat, for the service to our Medevac over the years. Let me assure you that you will continue to play an important role together with St. Barth Executive for assessing important health care of Ireland. I wish to thank the PS and the Ministry of Health and Social Services staff team and this team of Access for their hard work in bringing this aspect of service to fruition. Going forward, it is my hope that on completion, equipping and staffing of the new hospital and our healthcare service, we will be less dependent on Medevac. Meanwhile, I again welcome St. Barth Executive to the island, and certainly we look forward to your services. As the saying goes, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will try to do my best with my poor English as a French, with my Caribbean accent. Really thank you very much, Minister, Madam, for your welcome. We are very proud to be part of this beginning of story, we hope. We are trying to launch a new company since 2 years now, and we are increasing our medical flights in the Caribbean, almost one per day, since the beginning of the year. And we link with many islands with the help of Catherine. Catherine helped us a lot on the OECS organization of the East Caribbean islands and countries, working with them to improve the health system of the whole Caribbean. Our goal is to offer to the whole Caribbean citizens affordable services. That means fixed price with fixed base plane in the Caribbean, and we don't need to bring planes from the mainland, from US, for example, and we never know what will be the cost for Medevac. This is a problem for the government, and this is a problem for the private insurances. Our goal is to permit to have fixed price, fixed rates for all the islands, and then the insurances, the Caribbean insurances, privates, will be able to have a real business plan on a long term and to be able to offer services to the whole Caribbean citizens. Right now, if somebody having a problem, for example, in Dominica, and they need to evacuate him in Trinidad, until us, we need to bring a plane from Miami, which is a total nonsense, because the cost to bring the plane from Miami and then is double higher than the only flight Dominica to Trini. So this is why we put a base in Guadeloupe first. We're just opening Wednesday a brand new hangars and offices in Saint Martin with a possibility to put 5 planes in it with a full maintenance capacity. So we are the Pilatus Service Center for the Caribbean, which is the manufacturer of these great, incredible planes with a lot of parts. We train a lot of maintenance people, technicians, engineers. We send them in Europe, bring them back in our islands. And so I hope we will be able to develop these bases around the Caribbean. In life, direct life. So it was our first steps in Montserrat physically. Yes, we had the hard works with the people from UK, ISSI, the civil aviation. They helped us a lot. They was very welcome. And I am very thankful to them and to all the team here in Montserrat too, because they did a tough work too to push. Because, you know, aeronautical things, there is rules, and we cannot avoid these rules. So we need to comply. And whatever you are doing to do, mathematics talk. So we did these tough works, and we knew the people of Montserrat was behind us. So it took time. To launch this company. I started 5 years ago. And we launched it now 1.5 years. And every day we are improving, every day we are developing. And I hope every day we are saving costs to be able to afford Medevac on, let's say, Caribbean rates with EC dollars, with Trini dollars, with Barbadian dollars. And when you have a problem, then the local insurances are not able to pay these Medevac about $40,000 for 1 hour flight between 2 islands. So this is our really main goal. And this is why we choose these planes. I'm flying since 25 years in the Caribbean. I landed here 16 years ago. I think there was just opening. and we was waiting for a plane. In fact, Air Montserrat is doing a great job with the BN2s. The Islanders, the planes of Air Montserrat are great planes. I have 2,000 hours of these planes, because 10 years ago we had only this in Saint-Barth 2. And this plane is doing a great job because it can do very short and doing little hop very fast. We are more for long-haul flights. So we put Trinidad in 1 hour. We put Barbados in 55 minutes. We are flying 300 knots and at 31,000 feet. So these planes are able to land here. You see at half of the runway. We are not using more than half of the runway. You can see it. And we are flying like a jet. So the Swiss people, it's a Swiss-made think by Swiss Army. And you know the Swiss, when they are building something, a watch or a knife, the Swiss. So they built this. The first one was in 1981, and they develop it and they improve it, engines, avionics. We have something very special from Medevac. It's unique on the world of aviation. We can leave the cabin on the ground. That means the plane is climbing, but the cabin stays on the ground. So when you have brief problem, even sometimes hemorrhagic neuro, and when the medics come, the doctors come, the first question of the captain is, can we climb? And sometimes we cannot climb. And this is a bit dangerous because we have to fly low in the bad weather, in the night. So evacuating somebody from here to San Juan or to Trini or to Barbados at midnight, and you have to stay at 1,000 feet in the clouds. I mean, I did it maybe 300 times, and I don't want to do it anymore. So we just push a button, and the cabin stays on ground, but the plane is climbing. This is the future of the liners in maybe 10, 15 years. We are very in advance from an Airbus or a Boeing, our avionics, and these technology are like 10 years in advance of a Boeing or an Airbus. So we will try to do our best. Second one, then they finished. We have 3 to do in this way and 2 on this way, each pilot, to be able to really see the speeds and hold the environment. There is a lot of turbulence. Today is okay because the wind is in the axis, but we know with north wind or south wind, it will be tricky. We are well trained because we are operating in Saint-Barth every day, sometimes 10 to 12 times per day in Saint-Barth, per pilot. So we know the short runways. In fact, the people of ISSI UK told us it's a very slippery runway, and yes. So when it will be wet, we will have some limitation. We will not be able to land wet. We will be able to take off, but it's hot, 15 minutes, 12 minutes, we just hold. Then the water get out from the runway, and we can land. So we come in cooperation with you, with Air Montserrat too, because Air Montserrat is very good to do the very short haul. For Antigua, for example, it's better to take Air Montserrat than call us to come here and then go in Antigua and then go back in Guadeloupe. We are good, let's say, Montserrat San Juan, Montserrat Barbados, Montserrat St. Lucia. Then we are Martinique. We are good for this kind. But for very short, like Antigua, the Highlanders, Air Montserrat planes, are doing the job greatly. So we come in addition, and we hope we will help you for the health, because we are here for that. We just did a Medevac this morning. Sorry for our medics. I would like to present you our medics. You will, the professional, you will meet them. They are very good people doing this job since, for some of them, more than 30 years in planes, Medevac. They are doctors from Guadeloupe, from Martinique. We are hiring now doctors from Saint Martin because we have the base in Saint Martin, and we will be able to come from Guadeloupe, from Saint-Barth, or from Saint Martin. This will offer three different opportunities, because we need to do it when it's an emergency. We need to do it quick. This morning we had a call from Dominica, so we went in Dominica this morning very early. So the medics are resting now. They prepared the flight all night, and we did Dominica Guadeloupe this morning, and yesterday Dominica Trinidad. We will help with Catherine, because Catherine is very, very involved in the health things in Guadeloupe and Martinique. And I don't know if you know, but we are building a great hospital in Guadeloupe, about 2 billion hospital, huge, the really huge one, the most modern hospital of France, with many, many very expensive things, as the cyclotron for the PET scan. So we will be the only one in Guadeloupe. We are, because he's running now, the PET scan. So we are the only one around the Caribbean and South America to have this. If you want one, you need to go in USA, and in USA for brain it will be around 25,000 US dollar for one PICS, and us will be 10% of that in Guadeloupe, because of the healthcare and all the things. I say it for foreigners. For the French, it's almost free, but for foreigners will be 10 to 1%. Catherine is working very hard on this kind of project to be able to offer to you good services closest as possible, fastest as possible. Sorry for my English again.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
Thank you for your welcome. I'm born in Guadeloupe, so we are all Caribbeans. And we try with Catherine and with Dr. Carlene Radix from the OECS, Madame Radix, based in Grenada, a good friend of Catherine. We went in the whole islands. So we did Anguilla, we did St. Lucia, we did Trini. So we are going around and trying to help. The OECS politics side is taking time, because there is diplomatic things. In fact, on the field, we are going faster. So we are operating and we are saving lives every day, almost every day, since 6 months. Thank you. We have our medics, we have our doctors, nurses. Yeah, we have our own teams. Depends of the hospital, of the government, of the state. Sometimes, certain cases, the local doctors prefer to stay with the patients and go with the patients until the end of the hospital, for the handover. And most of the time, we use our medics and our doctors, so that we come here. In the fact, we land for let's say hard cases. They go in ambulance in the hospital, so they check with you all the things. They check if the patient is stabilized. You give them the whole details and the whole paperwork and all these things, and they leave your hospital to the plane. For easy cases, to go faster, sometime you come with the patient on the runway, and we do the switch here on the runway. For easy, but our doctors some prefer for hard case to come to the hospital. We went in Anguilla 3 days ago, and they took 2 hours in the hospital of Anguilla, because it was a very hard case, and they spent 2 hours with the local team to stabilize, to be sure everything ready. We are not boarding in the plane until we are really sure we can fly. We fly night, but not here for the moment. We need to do more paperwork. Yeah. ISSI in London need to implement the rules. The rules are 25 years behind the technology. So it's not a shame because European states did it 2 years ago only. Yeah. So even UK are behind it. Yeah, in the mainland. So they are working on it, and they opened a special commission for that last year, and the commission was a bit sleeping, and with our pushing, they reopened the commission, and I put the French civil aviation and the European civil aviation in contact with UK directly, and they are working on risk assessment, a lot of things like that, and so we take time. I don't know. Sometime, 6 months, 3 months, 1 year. I don't have a schedule for the night flights yet.
Thank you for your very, very, very efficient introduction and explanation. You covered so many grounds that there's hardly any questions really left. Mine is one about logistics. And you certainly cleared the air when you said that you would not be doing the Montserrat Antigua, for example, that's being taken care of otherwise. How are you connected? How do you get paid? I mean, is this going to be something with an insurance company or with strictly with the government?
There is several cases. Until now, to tell you the truth, we are experiencing the things. Sometimes, most of the time, it is the hospital who manage everything, the local hospital. The local hospital calls us and says, we have this case, here there is the papers of the case for the doctors, then how doctors can study it. This is the first step. Then they said, we will need to go in Trini or in Guadeloupe or somewhere else, okay? Then we do a quote. We do the best quote we can with 1 medics or 2 medics there or there, the timing, things like that. With this quote, then they look for the funds. They search the funds. They search the funds to the social security of the country, to the insurances, and to the family. The last case we have for this week, for example, they share. The insurance put 20%, the social security put 10%, the family put 50%. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes the social security put 50%. Sometimes the insurance put 40%. Sometimes the insurance call for 100% if they have a full coverage. The problem of this, there is a very, very few citizens of Caribbean who have a full coverage because of the rates. So the local insurances, big brands, Caribbean, we know them. There is 4 of them. They cannot afford. That was my first introduction about the rates. It's expensive. So the insurance businessmen, they said, how can I propose to a population, to populations, to citizens, a rate, and me, I don't know how much it will cost to me to do a Medevac. So this work, this is a big work Catherine is doing now. We will go in Barbados, we will go in Jamaica to meet the whole headquarters of these insurances, to show them our rates and to say, look, the rates now are affordable. They are 3-4 times less than a US jet. So you can now do a business plan. And this is really where we have a big work to do. So depend on the cases. Sometimes there is 2 or 4, 5 different things. We have a Dominican last week. They did a non-profit association for him. And everybody put some money. And even the government put 2%. But even the 2%, they took it. Catherine called people in Guadeloupe because it was Dominica Association. Everybody put. And us, we do our best quotation and we wait. But we know this case is there. Sometimes it takes 1 week, 10 days, 2 weeks. We hope it will not going too far because if they need a Medevac, it's because they need a Medevac, medical. So we wait, and as soon as they have the phone, until now, this is every time the hospital call us and say, we have the funds, will be these people, will pay. Most of the time, we trust the people. We don't wait for the funds on the bank account. We accept, proof of wires or things like that. Sometimes, now, we have some, like maybe 30 Medevac with Dominica. So, and we have no issue with Dominica. Serious people, straight people. We met no people who are waving in Caribbean. Trini, serious. Anguilla, serious. Everyone's. We have no issue on payments. Everyone is trusting everyone. So when we need to take off, she called me and she said, Vincent, we need to take off. And this is my responsibility if I take a financial risk to say, yes, we go.
Protocol already established. I've been tasked with the vote of thanks. And as Chief Medical Officer, I'm responsible for ensuring that there is appropriate provision to cater to emergency medical evacuations. Each week, I often have to sign off on these and deal with the challenging logistics of arranging patient transfers. So I and the rest of the medical team, we are delighted that we have St. Barth Executive as an additional service to the Ministry of Health and Social Services and to the government of Montserrat, by extension, the people of Montserrat. It has been a complex journey to get this service to Montserrat, and we are grateful to St. Barth Executive for your patience and your continued commitment to us. I thank them very much. I would also like to offer special thanks to Catherine, their PRO, who has been very instrumental from day one in ensuring that we were able to access this service, as she has such a great love for the island of Montserrat and the people of Montserrat. I would also like, for the Caribbean, I would also like to thank other colleagues that have been involved, such as the Access Division, the Airport Authority, the Ministry of Finance and Economic Management, my permanent secretary, who met Catherine in Grenada in 2018. That's when we first heard about St. Barth Executive. Also, I'd like to make special mention of PMO, Public Management Unit, and also the Healthcare Development Manager, Mr. Kurt De Freitas, who continued the onward communication and negotiations with St. Barth Executive. I think he deserves a round of applause, really. Vital team member who, yes, and being the voice of Ministry of Health so that the other members of the team could focus on other tasks as well. Also, I'd like to thank the Almighty Father, because He knows. He knows. And before I got in here, I was literally dancing outside, and people saw me how excited I was, because, trust me, He knows how hard we've been fighting for today. We'd like to thank Him for good weather, given that when it rains, the challenges that we have with that, and of course to ensure the safe landing. Okay, and for allowing them to do their test flights. That's very important. Thanks to the Minister, the PS, and the entire Ministry of Health and Social Services team. The doctors, the nurses, the social workers. I know how hard you work when it comes to getting a patient out of here safely, right? And ensuring the safe transfer. And also fire and rescue, I cannot forget them because they assist us as well. Very special thanks to the media and Government Information Unit for being here today. Without you, we could not document this momentous occasion. And now that we've reached the end of this briefing, I would like to ask Vincent, please facilitate the tour. We're anxiously awaiting to see this beautiful aircraft.
So you have on this space, big like that, 1,200 horsepower. And this is a jet engine with a prop driver. But these prop, the big modernity and technical